Let's
We got
see.
DeeDee Bean in the house today, girl. She's
Hi,
gonna spill
everybody.
all the damn tea. No, I'm
See,
kidding.
I can be a little bit more risque on
Sure.
your channel than I can on mine because my grandkids watch mine.
Oh yeah. So yeah, mine do too, but I don't care. I'm like, they're gonna figure it out some days. Might as well be from somebody who loves them, right? But
Yeah, okay.
yeah, I kind of like to say things that an adult will definitely zoom in on. But I do curse more in live than I would on a video.
Oh,
Yeah, my
yeah.
videos especially, right? I do that thing where it's just when you're this old you'll understand, but when you're a kid you just
You
think
will.
that stupid lady. And so then that's why I always think, why are these kid trolls in here? Because
Do they
they
get it?
they don't get it, and they don't want to be here, and they bitch and moan the whole time, and they just trying to get a rise and
They
flame everybody up. And it's like, I don't, why do y'all think that's fun? I don't get why they think it's fun. But I mean, I guess I'm not a kid anymore, so we didn't
well,
have that
it's
choice.
it's like that new knock on the door and run away thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And
And that
that was fun. Yeah. I'm not
oh
gonna, yeah, ding dong ditch. I
yes,
love, I
yes,
did love
yes.
doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did that every once in a while, but my parents were a little mean. They were like, "Don't
Oh,
you
mine
dare do
were mean too. Yeah, when I was at my grandma's, I could get away with crazy, and my
Oh,
dad would just
yeah.
be off somewhere. But he'd fly a country mile to beat my butt. But anyway, yeah, long
Well,
as he didn't
and
find out.
and back in the day, you couldn't get away with nothing. I mean, because
Yeah,
everybody knew everybody in our little neighborhood,
yeah, that kind of thing. True. You had to go several neighborhoods over, or several streets over. We didn't really have neighborhoods per se, but we kind of left out in the morning. Kids don't understand that, because we keep an eye on them, because we knew all the crap we got up to,
Oh,
and
yeah, oh,
all the
yeah.
creeps. Right, there were creeps on every corner.
I know, I used to walk home and I was 5 years old. I don't remember who I was talking to. I was like, "I used to walk home when I was 5 years old." I mean, I can't
Yeah,
even imagine my granddaughter walking home right now.
I
No way.
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, my dad would send me in the store at like 6 and 7 to get him
Yeah.
some cigarettes, and,
Yes,
and they would
yes.
sell it to us. They'd be like, "Sure, I
I
know
know,
your
they
dad."
didn't care.
They didn't care. It was 60. That's 50 cents in my pocket, or whatever
That's
it was
right.
back then.
Ooh, we got some
But
people in here.
we do. Come on in. Welcome in and get in this live, girl, and get in these chats, honey. Get in here.
Do
We have
you
got
have a
some stuff.
delay on your end? I have a little bit delay on my end.
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
always just turn my iPad down, but
Okay.
yeah, it's whatever you want to do, honey.
I'm
Uh
good. I can see
Lux
here.
is here. Oh my
Apple
gosh.
Blonde's here. Yay, Maria.
Yes. So yeah, already thanks to the mods. If you guys catch anybody coming in that shouldn't be here, then
Dawn is here.
thank you for kicking them out. Dawn, oh my gosh, Cammy from Cammy's Closet. So what? Who cares? Whatever.
Did you see
Yeah.
her shirt? Did you see her shirt?
Yeah.
That was the best.
I
She's
told her
like,
the other day, I don't remember what we were talking about. Oh, I posted a picture of yesterday of me in my Easter, not yesterday, Sunday. And I was like, because everybody in our chat thing was like, "Hey, here's what I'm wearing. And I was like, "Where's everybody going? What's everybody doing?" And I had gone to eat with my family, and I wore, sort of different for me, instead of the t-shirts, a little
uh-huh.
jazzed up, and I carried a nice bag. And I showed it, and somebody said, "Oh, we can tell you're losing." And I said, "And I'm 5'5" for reference. So
For reference. Oh, and that was she got me on that one when she turned around and did for reference. You did good,
mhm.
Cammy. You did good on that one. I was like, that one I wasn't expecting.
All she's got to do is just wear that every single time. And when she pops up
Exactly.
and shows her bag, nope, there's not even a question. We know. We
We
know.
know.
We already know, right? Saya! Oh my God. If anybody has any questions for DD Bean, please drop them in. Mick is here. Hi.
Thumbs up,
And
y'all.
yeah,
Thumbs
yeah,
up.
thumb it up, thumb it up, thumb it up, thumb it up, thumb it Yeah. Cammy said, "Thank you, DeeDee."
You welcome.
Oh, Miss Latina is in the house. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal?
Oh, Melissa's Corners here. My myself.
Melissa.
Hey, I have a self-appointed president and a self-appointed vice president, and now I have a self-appointed treasurer now from a
Okay.
fan club that don't even have a fan club.
Well, I mean, everybody's got to start. You
I'm
gotta, you
telling
gotta
you,
jump on most people. That there
that's
you
right.
go.
So
Right?
I have Melissa's Corners, my self-appointed president. Latinas, my self-appointed vice president.
All right, then.
It was
Oh
a
my
little
God,
iffy
that's
there, Winnie, though, because Yota said, "I'm your self-appointed vice president." And I was like, "Ooh, you're about 2 hours too late." So
uh-oh.
she said, I'm the how about the treasurer?" And I was like, "We'll either have lots of money from the sales of your art, or we'll be totally broke because we're spending everything."
Or she can just pitch in, you
Uh,
know.
yeah, she'll see that the kitty's a little low. She'll add to the kitty.
Just add to it. She'll add to the petty cash. It's all
There we
good.
go. Yeah, it's probably all
Maria's
petty cash to her.
what about Maria? She said, what role could she have?
Maria can whatever. It's self-appointed, so you pick one. Everybody's
Oh,
picking their
oh,
own.
oh. Okay, then. I'm definitely there for comic relief. That's
All
my
right.
role.
All
Boom.
right. Comic relief. There's Winnie. She's our comic relief.
Jolie's here. All right. Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Jolie, how's she
yes.
doing? How you doing, Jolie?
I think she's feeling better, and she's losing weight like crazy. Cause when I went on Ozempic, she also went on her own. She said, "I'm gonna
Oh,
do what you do, but I'm gonna do it without the
yeah.
meds." And I was like, "Girl," and she's
Hey,
killing the game, killing it.
more
So
power
yeah,
to you. Well, it also helps she had surgery. Come on.
yeah, that was rough. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that. I've
Face
never.
down.
I mean, for 5 days, like I can
No.
imagine trying because I think I said, "Well, how are you going to pee?" And she's like, very carefully. I was like, "Okay, enough said. We got
No
you."
said.
You
Oh,
know,
Mims is here. Mims is here. Missy.
Missy, how are you, girl? Oh my goodness.
Girl, your chat is just flying, flying.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't have it on. You know what? I always have to filter because I always have it on top.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
always
and I
try to tell them, always put filter over, go
yeah.
on down, filter all your messages. Hey Don, Don says, what about her? Don, whatever you want to be, honey. What are you picking? Tell me what you want.
Do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all self-appointment here.
First Saya says I'm the self-appointed North American Community Outreach. That's
All
awesome.
right, there you go, Saya. I need some more. Give me some more subs. I need to get to that 1010 soon, y'all.
Woo! Yes, girl.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
at
We gonna get it.
650 something. I'm almost at 7. I hadn't even really been paying attention. And my husband says, "Do you know you're like at 657 or something?" I think is what he said. And
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, "I am." I'm like, "Yeah." This
So do
month is
you
my
think you will?
anniversary.
Yeah, it is. Do you think you will stick with the handbags, or are you gonna pivot? Are you gonna stay with it? The whole handbag thing? Is
I
that
have
your thing?
I have gotten a lot of feedback on the interviewing style live that I'm doing,
Mhm.
which is a little bit different than what everybody else is kind of doing,
Yeah.
just a little bit, not much, but like uh, so I'm gonna go ahead and forth and keep that up. So we have to sign you up, for March. What are we in? April, for April. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and roll that into doing that. I'm not sure how many times a week. I know
Yeah.
or a month. I mean, maybe once or twice a month. But I actually have quite a bit of people who I have lined up. So I could do like
Yeah.
once every week. It's just so hard. I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And I've been doing the 3:30 slot,
Yeah.
and that's been good. But there's so many people who can't do that
Right.
time.
Working. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did
Yeah.
work out with Caleb, because he's only doing once a month on Thursdays, which is
Right.
kind of
Right.
like what he was doing. So I said, well, maybe I'll fill in for the ones who need a night slot on those weeks, I just want to coordinate with him because, I want to see him and support him, so
Right, right. I
um,
get it. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes sense. I mean, but it's also like, well, if you build it, they will come. I think doing a lot of lives is good as far as building and doing growing your channel. But once you get to a point where you're making a little money at it, you'll find out really quick your bread and butter is a long form
the
video.
posting, yeah.
Yeah, it just is, and you like doing both, so I don't see that as a problem. And
I
and
I
who's
I have plenty, I could stop buying now, which actually I'm on a slow. This is my slow time
yeah.
because we have a cruise coming up,
Oh,
and then
okay.
we have another cruise in July, and then we have one in November, and then we're going to Chicago in October.
That'll be
So yeah,
nice. Meet
so
us.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, so all the money kind of diverts, and so we have our funds that we have out of our household stuff. But then
Right.
because I've talked about it before on my channel, I think, is that we have what we call fun money accounts, which just a little bit of
Yes.
money that it's like our household can be at negative, but if we have money in our fun money account, the other person can be jealous or upset
Yeah.
if you're doing that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and my husband he saves his and saves his for the cruise and stuff. I spend mine every month. Spend
I
mine.
know. I was too. I mean, as you know, I was
Right.
spending
Yeah.
mine plus 40,000. So that happened. Like I was literally spending before I got it. Like I was, that's what I was doing. And that was a flawed
A
plan.
flawed theory.
Yeah, that wasn't a good thing. But today, that's funny that you mentioned about your husband. So my daughter, she has Mercari, right? And I
Oh, yeah.
use her Mercari. And I know a lot of people kind of say, like, why don't you put your Mercari? Because it's not mine. I had Mercari and I got into a fight with them and they said,
No
You're
more.
gone." So yeah, I had sold tons and tons of things on my Mercari and they really don't care. So my daughter was kind enough to say, I'll let you have my password. You can go in, but I don't want you to broadcast it to everyone out there. Like
Right.
it's mine. If you could have your own, do that. But so I kind of try to respect that. But we do have it set up to where I get an alert. Well, I don't, but it's on my husband's for some reason. I think because she had two and she used his
His
email. Anyhow,
email. Yeah.
so when it sells something, it pings him. And I get the notification on my phone when
Right.
on her account, either one of us, if we sell something, it pings up on me, right? So today, I was in talks with the lady about some sneakers, some pretty
Oh,
expensive sneakers, right? And I never worn them, and I paid a certain amount, and they were wanting to give me just under the amount, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of dealing with these. Great, you can have it immediately. Hey, how much did you sell those for? And I was like, wow. I was like, wait, why? And he said, I was just being nosy. And I was like, no, you don't get to know about my money if I don't get to know about yours.
there you
Like,
go. There you
that's
go.
how it works. You got your stash. I got I call his
Stash.
stashies
Oh,
because
stashes. That's a good one. Yeah.
yeah, he
Stashes. Yeah.
stashes them somewhere in his wallet. And, I don't go in his wallet anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But, and he doesn't get in my bags. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
just
and
one of
my husband's the
those.
same way. And
Yeah.
my kids are the same way too. And it's not like I ever told them. I think they just got it from my husband. He would
Yeah.
say, "Here's your purse. I need such and such or whatever." And I would do the same thing with his wallet. I was like, "Oh, here's your wallet. I need such and such."
Right. Yeah.
And
I don't want
it's
to
just
thumb
one
through
of
there
those
anyway. Yeah.
respect kind of things.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I
And
don't
I've
go through
seen
his
him.
phone and
Right. Yeah, I don't, yeah, none of that.
yeah,
But I've
yeah.
seen him at places get into another part of his wallet when we were paying for something. So
You're like,
I know, I banked
that's where
that
it's
and I
at. Yeah.
know. And when he says he'll flip out his wallet to me sometimes, he'll go, I'm broke. We can't do that today. Like I'm broke. And I go, but wait a minute. don't you have stashies? And he's like, what? Wait, what? Have you been
I
in? I'm
know
like,
my
no.
statues. I know.
But yeah,
My husband, he'll always say, I'll say, do you have a couple of dollars or whatever? And I always mean like what he has or what I have from because I don't ever really carry cash. We just carry
no.
cash when we go to the games, to the baseball games and stuff, because we never
Yeah.
know. Some are cashless where it's all on your Apple card or all whatever it
Right.
is. And then some are you are just are cash where you have to
Cash
have this
only.
cash.
Yeah.
So you never know. So we'll have that available. And so he goes, well, in my fun money, I said, I'm not asking you for your fun
Yeah.
money. It's
Just
like
a
I'm not
couple
trying to
dollars.
steal
They
your fun
always
money.
he does the same thing, and it's funny that because he's always like, I'm leaving a tip if we're at a restaurant or something. He'll say, okay, I'll leave the tip, but do you have a couple ones? You know what I mean? And then I'm like, sure. But see, he that's the thing. Or I'm most of the time like, no, I actually don't. But my daughter, she hoards back cash too. Even though she has a little Venmo card that she
Oh
can
yeah.
use places, right? But yeah, she's a cash hoarder just like him. But it is weird in this in a relationship which person will care. You know what I mean? And
Right.
for us, it's him. And
It's
so it sounds
him.
like for you, like
Yeah.
he always I've never known
And
him not to
he
have
doesn't like
some.
to it's always been always I also too feel better. I always want him to have at least a 20 bucks in there. I told him, here, you need to
Yeah,
have 20 bucks, I'd like more. I mean, I would love for him to always have a hundred
sure.
dollar
Yeah.
bills in there, but we don't have that kind of money.
Right, right. Yeah. I
But
get it.
it's just one of those things because you never know if the machine's broken.
You
20
never
bucks will
know.
usually cover whatever,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a pinch. But and
Yeah, and
with
you
me,
try to
I'm
tell
like,
your kids that, but
yeah.
never.
I have the change. I always carry the change. Granny carries the change. So my
Okay,
purse is
so
heavy from the change.
okay, so if he says like, oh, 38 cents, I'm the same way. I've got that little I won that from Mel that time, the little Bastia, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
all it's good for. Like if anybody wants to know what a Bastia is good for, not
that one.
cards, very little
Yes.
cash, but change is your friend in one of those. So that's all I carry in it.
That's all you
So
carry
he's
with you.
always, if we're at a store, like, you have 72 cents. I'm like, hell yes, I do. Hold up. Just
I know, I know.
boop. Yes,
I know, and
correct.
for us, it's because we still have in where we're in our area, they still have those like the little gumball machines, but they have
Oh yeah.
those little do your grandkids play with those
Oh,
little
the
things that you throw
grabbers.
at the wall? Yes, yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
when we go to restaurants or whatever, my grandkids, do you have and it's not a quarter anymore, girl. It's 50 cents.
It's
So you have
50
to have two
cents.
quarters. I'm like, oh my God, it's expensive. So I'm like,
And
okay,
the
hold
little
on.
claws though, they're
Yes.
like $3. They're like
Yes,
dollars.
yes. I'm like, "Forget it." I was like, "It's too expensive." And you know
It
what?
is, it is.
You know
Yeah.
that crap doesn't cost that much money. It does
Oh
not,
no, not at
you
all.
know.
They get that stuff, from like Wish or Temu or
Yes,
whatever
yes,
for 25
yeah.
cents. They
Oh,
buy in bulk.
you've switched over to Temu? I still Temu to me, girl.
Well, just because I sang that song so long and said
Oh,
it to so many people, now I don't think I can switch back.
yeah.
But it's so funny because I, was telling somebody about this, but a while back, maybe I said it in the live. I can't remember where the shit I say stuff. That's how I always am. Like I don't know if I told you something, if I told her. That's the age. You know what I mean? When you get to the age, I
You're
want to
like, "Who
say
did I
after I
tell?"
hit like 45, I don't know who the hell I told that story to. But anyway, so I retell and people have to say, yeah, yeah, you already told me. And I go, oh shit.
Oh,
Okay.
okay,
Well, I
sorry,
don't know what
sorry.
I'm
But
telling
let me
you.
tell you again anyway.
But they at one point when it was really, I want to say like a year ago when it really hit the scene, they didn't do much marketing, but they did a lot of like well, they did do marketing, but not a lot of advertising.
It was all texting and
It
sending
was all
emails and
texting and
yes.
all that and up in a video. So I guess they did, but like commercials and stuff like that. It was
Right,
just
yeah.
kind of it went wildfire, right? And everybody was unboxing a haul and all this. And so they contacted me, but then it was one guy, and I said, oh, okay, sure. He goes, pick out however much money from there, make the list, send it to me. I go, okay, okay, okay. So I send it to him. He goes, okay, let me get this approved. I'll get back to you. Crickets. Never heard another thing. And then right behind him, another person. Hey, and I just send them the list. I sent that list to 7 different
No,
Temu,
and nothing.
nothing. And so it's been all this time. It's been months and months. It's probably been a year. I forgot all about it. I never really went on there and ordered anything. I was just like, I got enough junk, right? So um today I get a nice email from a lady and she goes, "Hey, my name is so and so. I'm with Tamu." And I said, "Okay, okay. First of all, I want you to know," and I told her the whole story, right? I guess that's who I told it to, DeeDee. I'm like, "This is very familiar." But anyway, she comes back and she goes, "We changed all that.
Oh.
We changed a lot of our policies. We no longer go through," I think they were like what you would call a subcontractor.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
so they would buy it at cost, and then whatever was generated from your link, they would make the money on, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But that, I mean, I get that. And she goes, "No, we don't do that anymore. But if you'll give me your rate, I'll send you, you can pick out anything you want." She didn't give me a price, right? She just wanted my rate, which to me in itself was like, oh, wow, they're going to give me free stuff and pay me. So do I believe it's going to happen? Hell no. I really don't.
Well, I
I don't
don't know.
believe.
I mean, yeah. My brother the other for Easter, he was all proud. He goes, "Look at this shirt, it was $4." And I was like, "Yeah, I saw that bag come because he got into it." I said, "I told you not to, right?" And he says, "Well, no, it's great." I said, he goes, "The clothes are good." I said, "That's not the thing. They're gonna be hounding you." He
Yeah.
goes, "Well, they've been okay." Sunday, Easter Sunday, all of a sudden you heard ding, ding, ding. He goes,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, I told you
They're
that was
on
one
you.
rabbit hole that I didn't
You
go down.
it's like feeding a hit dog, that what they
Yeah.
say around here, you'll never get rid
Yeah.
of that cat or dog. It's
I
like,
don't have anything against them because, like, I think Craig's the one who told me that Shein and Temu are the same company or owned by
yeah,
the same people, whatever. And
yeah.
I don't have a problem against it. It's just
No.
that I saw and understood what they were doing, and
Yeah,
I've already been. It's like I've already been hooked by those things
yeah.
before. And I
I
knew that
mean,
I was like,
it's just it's
this girl.
all
I know. I'm like, I need
yeah.
that. I need that. I need that. It's like I go to the
It's
dollar store.
AliExpress, it's Wish, it's
Yes, I
it's
did Wish for a long
BHP.
time. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, we did that too.
yeah.
And now, Amazon to some effect is that way, right? So, but their prices have been driven way
Oh,
high.
yeah,
So,
unfortunately.
used to you could get a pretty good, decent little bargain on there, but now it's kind of like buying stuff. Like, if you ever bought dish soap from the Dollar Tree, it seems like it's a great deal, and then you get it home and it's this much
Teeny
of
tiny,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, when you could buy for $1.25 a great big one at the grocery.
Right.
So, yeah, it's that whole same like, oh, you feel like you're getting a good deal, but are you?
But are you really? Hey, I
Yeah.
go to that dollar store and it's not a dollar, it's like, $100.
Yeah, yeah, you can't go in there for less than, I mean, and
Yeah.
think about it. You've got like 40 things if you spend 50 bucks or 60 bucks,
Right.
it's just stuff. And I found when we go, because my daughter loves it, she's still at the age where she just thinks that's so fun to bargain shop for little trinkets and doodads, right?
Yeah.
But I promise you, the last time we went, maybe a month ago, the stuff is still sitting in the bags downstairs. So, like,
She's
was
not using it, yeah, but she
we
got
didn't
it.
need
But she
it. We
got it, yeah.
didn't need it, but it was $1.25. So, oh my
It was only $1.25. Yeah, now that's $1.25. Yeah, that's like, nah.
God.
But
Yeah, but
you had said, "Will I stick with the handbags?" Well, I do a little bit of everything. Like I've unboxed, like I have a croc that I need to some new crocs for the cruise that I need to do a
right.
video on that. And then
Yeah.
I think mine I landed on the handbags because I went crazy. I went
Yeah.
Okay, I can say it here. I went batshit crazy with the
Right.
handbags
Yeah.
because I felt like I had to catch up because I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cute! Oh my god, that's so cute! I
Yeah.
haven't seen that because it had been like over 10 years since I
Yeah.
had actually used a handbag, And so I was like, oh, and then I
Yeah.
was like, I didn't know what I liked. Well, it's not that I didn't know what I like. Things that I could use before, I can't use now. It's too
Right.
hard for me. And
Right.
so I've had to downsize and I've had to think of all this stuff. So I do have I've been trying to detach emotionally from my
Yeah.
handbags to work myself up to where I can maybe, sell some
Yeah.
or pass some on or what have you, but it's hard because, I always like the stories behind them. I remember, see, if my grandparents or my parents or whatever gave gifts to my kids or whatever, I could
Yeah,
never get rid of them if I knew still who gave it to them. If I
sure.
knew the story, if I knew anything. And so it's always been very hard for
It's
me
a
to declutter.
sentimental thing for you.
Yes, I'm
It's sentimental
extremely.
yeah, in some ways. I feel like uh the bags are sentimental and whatnot, but also I have to feel like, does this spark a joy for me,
Yeah,
like the Marie
Marie
Kondo,
Kondo, yeah.
right? And she's very like, I never thought in it in that way or in those terms. But the thing that gets me is I'm promising you, like what got me, we were sitting here doing a live, me and Ed, maybe in November last year. And what really got me was somebody said, like, how many bags do you have? And so I just like started during the live, and it just went astronomically high. And I was like, no, that just was a.
Yeah.
And then DeeDee, this is what's crazy to me. I said this in a chat today, like I don't understand where it is that I had the disposable income. I didn't uh to have in the past 3, 4, 5 years even, to have just racked up all the debt that I did, and I had an afterpay going. I had a Klarna. I mean, I had several Klarnas. They'll keep letting you do it as long as you don't miss one of your four payments, right? I had paying for on PayPal. I had at one time I had seven Affirm things. Okay, while I had two Fashion File layaways. So, and I'm not a rich person. I have to
Yeah.
tell you that. I'm bougie. I'm bougie.
Bougie.
I'll admit to that. Loving nice things. Very bougie, always have been, but it was from afar. Like I could love these things from afar and appreciate that you had them or she had them or he had that. But I didn't necessarily think I would
Need
go
them.
by it.
Yeah.
And it's very slippery slope of how, I know we didn't
Oh,
even
yeah.
start talking this way, but how a $250 bag seems like, holy shit, I can't spend two. Okay,
Oh,
we got
yeah.
through that, right? And then 500 turns to 1,000, and how quickly 1,200 is a, sure, I can go for, but once you buy a $2,000 bag, then that's like, it seems crazy, but then something in your brain goes, oh shit,
Switches.
you
Yeah.
did it once, you could
Why
do
can't
that
you
all
do
the
it again?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I remember that first the Marc Jacob video that I did when I got that pink bag and everything. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I paid full price. I wasn't on sale because I'm allergic to paying full price.
Right, right. We
And
love to
but
find a bargain.
but
Yeah.
this one did not ever go on sale. It would not go on sale. In fact, they just kept selling out and selling out.
It
And
would
so when it
sell out first.
yes, so
Right.
when it came back
Yeah.
on, I was like, I need to get it if I'm gonna get it.
So it
And
was the FOMO.
yes,
Yeah.
and when I got it and I loved it, I was just like, "Oh my goodness," I couldn't believe it. And now, yeah, I'm way over that. I'm way over that. As long as
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
making a small monthly payments, I'm good. But no, I know
Right.
I had part of part of mine, which is a little bit different, is I went down, I've always been a thrifter, so mine
Yeah.
are like not, I didn't hit those big numbers unless it was buying new, which I did buy new, but even
Yeah.
still, it's still lower, but yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, and I've dabbled a little bit here and there. That there's some videos coming up for some videos coming up for some vintage LVs that I've been I've I've been paying on because my husband said, "Are you going to do anything special for yourself when you hit 500?" Like he goes, "I see
Yeah.
everybody do stuff," and then I said, "Well, maybe," but 500 came so quicker
Yeah.
than I could pay off what I had in layaway. So I was
Yes.
just able to pay it off. So I just did a video,
Right.
and so I have a few vintage LVs
Sure.
that I have coming and everything. But yeah, and I'm sitting here thinking, going,
Right,
yeah,
but it's so so that's something else, is there's always a special occasion, right?
right,
And that's the way I have to think about in terms of cake. That's cake for me.
yeah,
Like it's bags, obviously I have that problem, but I also am a huge I will eat cake. I just said this in the video coming up tomorrow. I am a cake lover. So that I haven't, since I've been on this shot, I haven't really thought about cake or even wanted cake, but I read something one day is like, oh, if I knew somebody was having a baby shower, which kind of happens, my
A
daughter's
lot.
friends, my daughter,
Yeah.
my kids, right? That happens a few times a year. We have Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas, all these occasions, right? 4th of July family reunion, there's cake there. So there's like 7 instances of cake. My birthday, all my kids' birthdays, my husband's birthday. So like there's always gonna be a special occasion for cake.
Yeah.
So at some point I have to say,
Say
you know
no.
what? I did that at Easter. There was a whole cake table laid out, okay, pies and cakes, probably 8 different. And I went up to it and I thought, well, there's a cupcake. Maybe I'll, but I said, you know what?
I
I,
don't want
I
it.
think
Yeah.
this one's it. But for me eating it, I didn't want to do it.
Right.
So I didn't do it. But
And
yeah,
that's
that's
what
it.
helps with the medicine issue because you're also not having that craving. See, like for me, not until I became a diabetic, when my mom got
Yeah.
sick and everything, that was when I started craving sweets because
Yeah.
my downfall was meats, potatoes, starches, all that. So when I
Okay.
went
Yeah.
off all the starches, when I went off the tortillas, when I went off of the corn, when I went off the potatoes and
Yeah.
all that stuff, well, that's where all my sugar was coming from.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when
I get
I quit that, that's when the sugar, and so then the sugar, my brain was saying, well, the quickest way to get sugar is candy or sweets or this or that.
right.
And I
Yeah.
went like bananas for them, and it's like, and I used to
Oh,
never
I'll
be a
tear a
sweet
house down
person.
for chocolate. I will tear
Yeah.
this whole friggin' house down for a piece. If I know there's chocolate, and there is chocolate. I mean, we just came off of Easter, so yeah,
Right.
we know. And there's not only that. Think of the holidays associated with chocolates. You got Valentine's Day, Easter. I mean, it's just a never-ending. And then what my daughter and I loved, and Bill to some degree, but he is a type 1 diabetic, but we love to after the holiday. So on Monday,
Oh,
normally, right? Easter Sunday, normally on Monday, they start, oh, 75%.
oh
And they
yeah,
go with
yeah.
that till they get rid of it. And so we love getting a Whitman sampler after you know what I mean? And
Yes,
so
yes.
just it's just my brain always, and that's why I like this medicine so much, is because my brain isn't obsessing about that. And you know what I think, DeeDee? This is another realization, and tell me this. So I already said, like, I don't want to buy a bunch more because once I hit that, like, oh, I counted however whatever it was
Yeah.
ungodly 70
I'm
about
not
whatever.
counting. Melissa always wants me to count.
No,
I'm like,
don't.
I'm not counting.
No, don't do it. But that's what turned it on for me. But I'm someone who has to be obsessed with something every
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
that time of my life. I can tell you, like, oh, that's when I went crazy for this, or
Yes.
oh, that's the
Yeah.
summer I went on, you know what I mean? So if it's handbags, fine. But now I am kind of consumed with the Ozempic, Majar, all the
Reading
so
all of that, reading and watching all of that, yeah. Well,
yes.
and
And
that's good
so
though because then you can obsess and say,
yeah.
okay, well, I did this and I tried this trick and it
Yeah.
works, and it'll
So
help you lose
yeah, and
weight.
people send
Yeah,
me, messages like you're doing good, or comments, wow, you got but then I think, is it so much the willpower as it is I just moved into a different obsession for this period?
yeah. And you know what? Who cares as long as it keeps
Is
working?
as long
Because
as
because if
and
you
it
don't
is
have,
expensive, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I've been the same way. It's like I go down these collector obsessions because I know right before the pandemic it was makeup because I had gone back to work in the retail, the jewelry place, and I was all around these young girls. And they're all, all into makeup and stuff. And I did my makeup, but I was always like, "Oh, I like that lipstick. What is it?" And they tell me,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Okay, there I go." And I mean, I have a ton. I have about 20
Oh
right here
yeah.
in this drawer, and
Yeah.
every and how the handbags were now, how everything, all the drops have started and going crazy. That's what happened with the makeup industry a few years ago, going right into
Yes.
2020. Is that every 3 months somebody was dropping, and then it became every month, and it was like
Yeah.
you couldn't keep up with it anymore, and you were like, I was
Yeah,
like,
and then,
okay,
you know,
I'm
the
done, I'm
makeups.
done.
The
And
makeup lovers moved over because they got everybody, there was so much infighting with those makeup
right,
channels.
right. Oh, and see,
They
when
all
all that
said,
stuff happened, I got out before it went out. I was like,
yeah.
I want to come here and enjoy myself. I don't want to come here and hear y'all complaining about each other or
Yeah,
whatever.
and
You
it
know.
just went through a cycle of like all you could see was makeup influencers and makeup. He Every other video offered up. If you watched one, they
Yeah.
sent you everyone. And then all of a sudden, after like the pandemic, it's like we all got in a fight. They all said silent, radio silence, and then they all said, "We're going to TikTok." And that's, so
Yeah.
we were like, "Okay,
Eh,
then girl,
bye.
bye."
I'm not doing TikTok. Yep. Well,
Yeah,
and
but
I have
it's
always
funny
been
when
the
you post a makeup video, you would think there's space for everyone, like people
yeah.
would,
W-
but the
No.
makeup videos don't do
Oh no.
fragrance,
No.
doesn't do
No.
nothing for
No.
me.
Yeah, my makeup ones, no. You know, you just your tried and true subbies will watch them or what have you,
Yeah,
you know. And
it's sad, yeah.
I like the skincare. I did the skincare. I've always been with skincare. In fact, I sold skincare for a while. I was in skincare, but that has always been there. But I was like, when I had a backup of a backup of a backup, you know, I think that's enough, you know.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm just starting to run out of it, and then Dawn got me on Dior, so I've been trying that. But Dior has a lot of like rose fragrances. In fact,
Oh,
it's right
yeah.
here. This is the was one of the gifts that I got, the platinum gifts that I
Oh,
got
yeah,
from
yeah, that
Dior.
stuff's pretty good, yeah.
But it works well, but I can't use it because it has a rose in it. I bought that one that you recommended that had
Oh,
the
yeah.
different toning that had yeah. Well, I used that, but after a while it started breaking me out because I have
Oh,
rosacea. I have rosacea
okay,
real bad. So
yeah.
the scent of the rose does it.
It
And not that
triggers it.
yeah, if it's a natural rose, like Elemis uses rose, and if it's a
Uh-huh.
natural rose, it's okay. Or if it's a rose, part of the rose oil or whatever. But
Oh.
if it's an artificial rose, that messes with my rosacea. And the
Oh,
rose,
man.
yeah. And I developed the
Yeah,
rosacea because of all the medicine I'm on for the RA. So
yeah,
yeah, so it
yeah.
sucks.
I get
So
breakout, like, I break out through here, like, right, especially this side and under
uh,
this eye. So I have to be careful. And I know Craig was asking me the other day, he's like, "Was something happening when you were unboxing that bag I gave you?" And I was like, "No, no, it was fine." But I put on a certain it might be that stuff because I like to use
oh
that corrector. And it
yeah,
could be that, DD. I don't know, but I use all kinds of crap. So when I first, but I've had my makeup on all day today, so I didn't just, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
if I do my makeup and then come in here to do a live or do a thing, I have to stop down or I have to like fight the feeling because I get my face like
Wanting to,
right through
yeah,
it just itches so bad. And then you can tell I've stopped down and come back and done this really hard because my face will be red and my
be
nose will
red.
look like Rudolph. Yeah. So something gets me too. I wonder if it's that.
It could
I
be. I
don't
mean,
particularly love rose scents.
yeah. I've
So
never really been a rose scent kind of
mm-mm,
person,
no,
period. It always reminds me
I
of
don't like it.
like old lady, you know, oh, like
Mhm.
old lady, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah. And so I always just try to stay away from it. But there was a period where they would put it in everything, you know. So I was like,
Oh, yeah,
okay. But I can't, it has something in it that it messes with my rosacea
yeah.
and it breaks me out. I have like that. I had run out of that corrector because I had a green one because the green is supposed to balance out the red.
Yeah, the pink and the red,
Right.
right,
And
yeah.
so it's supposed to do that. But I had run out. And when you showed that one, I said, I'm gonna try it, you know.
I
And the first
love it, but you're right, it might have something in
and you know what it is that at the first few ones it didn't affect anything, and then all of a sudden I was like, why do I have all these little bumps? And when
Yeah,
I looked, it's the rose. I mean, I knew it had the rose scent because I could smell it, and I thought, oh well,
yeah.
maybe I'm okay with it, and like, no,
Yeah, I
no.
bought it for my kid too, because she's always looking for something. She has, a little bit. I don't know if it's rosacea, but she has KP. You know what that is? The tops of
Yeah,
her
it's
arm.
those little bumps.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And
My
she
daughter
gets it.
gets those.
She gets it on her face and everywhere. So I always am trying to find something to even her out because she doesn't like people to say, like, what, why is your face red? She's like,
Yeah.
my face is just red. Shut it. Like she
Shut
gets
up,
a little like,
shut it.
stop it. And I do that too, but when I'm having a hot flash,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it really,
It'll go
I
up.
just
Yeah,
get super. I mean, it starts down here, and people are like, "Holy shit, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, man, it's just a hot flash.
it
Like,
does. It's a hot flash. Don't worry
stress
about it.
me
Just go
out.
on
I'm
your
already
business.
right." But anyway, yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, I don't know if I'll. I think I'll stick. I have enough purses to talk about them, to bring up other things about luxury. So I mean, I don't see myself moving to any kind of pivot or anything, and I think I just do this for for fun and grins and giggles now because I like I've always just liked people, making jokes and making people laugh, and that's the best compliment anybody ever gives me is like, "Oh, I was cracking up at what you said, or you something you said made
Yeah,
me laugh." So I figure like I could just do a video and just say anything
about
that's
anything,
funny,
and yeah.
and people will probably like that. But and there's certain you probably feel it, and I'm sure you do, being a creator now, because you feel that weight of people love to see it. Like, I need to show myself unboxing and buying and getting and showing. But at some point, I mean, it's not sustainable for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just feel like, God, they just,
Are you consciously thinking about pivoting to something else other than handbags or
if I did, I would start a different, like, I think
channel?
I would, start another channel doing it, but I don't really know of anything else that I'm as into as
At
this.
doing it, yeah.
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 And I
See, and
like doing the
I
live.
don't think because that's what I was telling Yota when with her art. I said, I don't think that at first that you need to start another channel. I think
Yeah.
you just have a dedicated day. I mean, some people were saying
Right.
you don't have to have a I just think have a dedicated day or dedicated weekend or whatever. Is provide your people who are your viewers who want the handbags, give
Yeah.
them what they have, but then start cultivating the new ones on the other. And that was the thing with the March Madness was that when I was doing that, it's like I was doing the lives, but I also still was putting out content because I try to learn from other people,
Yeah.
And like
Definitely.
Jackie was saying, when when she was doing all her lives and quit doing her daily content, that things started going down. So I was like, okay, lesson learned. Need to make sure to keep up with both of them. But it
Right.
kicked my
Yeah.
butt. It kicked my butt.
It,
So I
it
did
is.
have,
And maybe if you love doing the lives, you could take a more Jacob approach to it and cut up some of your live videos into
and yeah,
smaller.
I did do that
You know,
with I did that with one of the unboxings.
yeah,
I think it was maybe the duck unboxing, and I just kind of
sure.
filled it in a little
Yeah,
bit. But
yeah,
I don't have all the fancy equipment like what Jackie's now using the StreamYard and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I'm like, I enjoy my cell phone and my iPad. And I
right. Yeah, me
really
too.
so they all use their computers to do all that,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I don't
Yeah,
wanna do all that because right now I'm enjoying it, having fun, my
sure. Yeah,
creativity is okay with it. Like, I
yeah,
really I get a lot of compliments on my editing, which I don't, but I've
yeah,
been, get compliments on the editing, the funny stuff, the new things, like, Caleb was
yeah.
saying, "You did some side view stuff," and I was like, "Yeah,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's very
I said, "I
good.
was trying it."
Yeah,
I find that that has really sparked that creativeness in me has really that
yeah.
part of it. I hate doing the description boxes. That's the part that I hate. I hate that. I'm like,
Really?
yeah,
Oh
because
my god.
it's just I'm not really familiar with it, and then I don't really know, like, okay, which tags are really good tags, which this is that.
Right.
Then you have to
Yeah.
and then that's more of a repetitive stuff, and then it's like, did I forget it? Did I not? And I tried my Kristen D, she was telling me that she puts it in a file on Word, and that she
Uh-huh.
just cuts and pastes it. I said, "Oh," so I've been doing that the last couple of times, or I've been cutting and pasting from other videos.
Okay.
I'll go into the other videos and cut and paste.
But
But
the cool thing, I want to give you a hint. This is you'll love this. When you get to the point where you want to do TubeBuddy, so
oh,
it's an addition to the
see
YouTube, and I think it's like
that
$9. Yeah.
that I went into that because, but you don't find that confusing? My brain finds that confusing.
It's supposed to sync up with your app, right? So
Okay,
what I do, I never have to. All I change is the title and a few things in my box. I'm done. It takes me literally 10 seconds to do that box
really?
because it has a thing up there that says reuse, and you just click that and go to any of your other videos. You want to reuse that same, it does it. So it's a very, yeah, and
So
it'll
maybe
it'll allow
I'll
you
need to
to
look
use
into it.
tags.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll need to look
and
into it.
once you get to a point where, and it also will keyword search for you. So say I'm doing a video about Louis Vuitton Speedy 20. You want to do a video about it. It's going to show you all the creators who did it, what they won with, what they lost with, how much they got with it, if they earned subs. It's going to break analytics way down for you. It will generate a thumbnail for you if you want. Like it will do all sorts of things. And this is not me giving an ad for it.
No,
But
that's fine.
I like it. But some people like, I think I talked to somebody else, I talked into it, and they said no, I didn't like it, so I took it off. So I mean, that's an option too,
Yeah.
but it's
It's just
easier.
what happened with me is because there's so when you're looking at it, there's so many details, like, you
Yeah.
know, so it's
Mhm.
like a lot. It's kind of one of those where my brain just goes, whoa, it's too much info.
Right. Yeah, too much
And yeah,
overload.
so
Right.
I
I
have
get
to,
it.
yeah, I have to slide
Yeah.
into it easy. But it was like that with Canva too. When I was
Yeah.
using Canva, because Candy was like, and so for years, I had Canva on my iPad for years,
Yeah.
trying to use it for other stuff, and I would just use Microsoft and do all the stuff the Canva did, but I would do it by hand, because it was
Hmm.
easier. That's
Oh
that's how
man,
I learned. It was just easier, yeah. And
taking out the background and stuff.
I would do
Oh
that
girl.
all by hand on Word and all that stuff. Yeah. So now though, I Candy goes, you to do Canva, and I said, okay. So she got me into Canva, and
Yeah.
I do the little pro. I pay the pro, whatever it is. So I just click the little button, and I'm like,
And it's
yeah, yeah,
gone. You're like,
yeah. So it's like I don't know. Well, they've had a lot of updates, and also
yeah,
too, my brain has been able to, and I think it has a lot to do with not think I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with in the pandemic having everything shut down and be so confusing all the time,
yeah,
one. And then two, all the emotional overload from all of that.
yeah. Too
And
much
then
information. It was just a
right.
lot of,
Exactly. And
and
it's
varying. Like this
like
was
I
good.
can't
This was good.
yeah, and I
Yeah,
can't read anymore. Like I cannot. I used to be
yeah,
an avid reader. We would read, my husband and I, and the kids. We would all sit there and just have reading hours. My brain cannot focus anymore in reading. I can't because it wanders too much, or it gets
yeah.
bored too much. It's just,
Okay.
or I can't comprehend it,
Yeah,
and it's just one of those too much. There's just,
yeah,
I think it's just that time period. And
yeah. Maybe
so
you should
now,
turn into that book. Like start reading a book,
no.
and I get into one so many pages, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what the? I'm wasting my. Nope, she's gone.
I used
So
to read I was the type of reader that would read like 3 books at one time. I would get in
yeah,
here, and then
that's
I'd
what
get
I do.
and then I would be like, "Oh, you pissed me off," and I throw the book back. I was like,
Yeah.
"That's stupid," and I'm come over here. "Okay, all right, go on." And I was like,
Exactly.
then it's like, "Okay,
Yeah,
I better
there's
go." Yeah.
I forget who it is, but somebody, it's one of these big motivational people. I think Lisa mentioned it. Lisa Lecture in the Middle. She
Uh-huh.
mentioned this lady today in her video, if you guys haven't seen it, but this she's a very, like, she's like very, don't waste your time, focus on the thing, count from 5 back to 1, and then get back into what you were doing. Like if you wander,
Yes.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're back in the room, right? She's a very, like, count yourself back. And I really like that. And I think she was the first person I ever kind of read in her book, like, if you start reading a book and that book is not for you, like, stop read your waste, like,
Well, don't waste your
you
time
felt
for
like, I
yourself.
spent the
Yeah.
money on this book, I should, like, maybe it'll get better. It's not gonna get better, you're not into it.
You don't like
Goodbye.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well, when you were talking about you're obsessing about Ozempic and all of that stuff. The other thing that I was into that really didn't cost that much money but helped a lot was what is her name? Clutterbug. I'm a Clutterbug. She is an organizational
Okay.
and I
Yeah.
was really big into that community. And in fact, I
Okay.
got certified. I did her class. It was like a hundred of
Wow.
bucks, $110. I did her class, got certified. Like you could go and learn all the tools and stuff about organizing and all that. And that has always been something that's been I've always been natural to do that, like been able to do
Yeah.
that. Like I can go in and do that. So
Yeah.
it helped me. It was kind of like the stuff like the Marie Kondo, but I was like,
Yeah.
but then that's like, yeah, if it sparks me joy, but then there's like that deeper level that you have to go to,
Yeah.
or there's that level where you're just like, okay, because where I
Yeah.
get I get stuck would be the sentimental stuff.
Yeah,
So we're
sentimental does spark joy for
right.
me too. Like,
And
if
it
it
all
was
play
my
but
mom's, then I don't
yes.
want. I'm kind of like, well, shit. I don't want to.
But it
I
can
don't
also
have much of
stop
her
somebody.
left.
Yeah, it can also stop somebody from moving forward in the decluttering stuff.
Oh, I
So
didn't even think about
so
that.
one
Okay.
and that's what would happen to me. And so she said, "Well, okay, you've got one box that you can't
Yeah.
go through, but then you've got 50 over here that you can get rid of in 10 minutes. So let's just forget this box and go through these 50 and then you can maybe come back if you don't find 50 more boxes to go through. So it
Wow.
was like it's like that she mixes the what's common sense with it,
Hmm.
with it.
That
And
makes it.
so
Yeah, that
and
makes
she
it easier to
right.
take down.
Right, and they're
Right.
awesome.
Yeah.
You need to go watch her. It's like it's really really cool. She's really funny, and
I will.
she's from Canada, and she had the surgery. She had the surgery. So when I first started watching her, she was big like me, and now she's like teeny teeny tiny. She's like
Oh.
like
Wow.
Cammy. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And she talks
Yeah, I
about
watch a
her
girl
journey.
like that too, and it's amazing that because I went back and I watched her when she was skinny, and then she, had said, like, somebody said, like, she used to be a bigger person. She lost a ton of weight, and I was like, you're full of it. This lady's never been more than a size 8, and I'm like, oh god. And I went back to her first videos, and I was
It's
like,
probably the same one
wow.
we're talking about. Is she blonde?
No,
Oh
no,
no,
no.
no.
Yeah, dark hair. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I just am like, whoa, what is happening right now? But yeah, it's weird to see because if you don't take the transformation with the person, I
Right.
really have a hard time. Like, wait, what you
Who are
like
you?
that
Yeah.
Oprah thing? The girl that was so when if you'd never seen pictures of her, the guest, she had lost like 180 pounds just doing
Wow.
what we're doing, right? So I was hard. Like I was like, I can't match up the person. It's just you change so
Yeah.
drastically, right?
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't if I hadn't done the 12 red hot days of Christmas the way I did it, I wouldn't
yeah,
have known that I lost weight. I wouldn't have recognized that I had
yeah.
lost how much weight I lost
Yeah, it was just
because
like a light switch. You could see it. It was just like boom. Okay.
yeah.
And I was like, because I think I IM'd you like, DeeDee, what's going on? You
Yeah.
because you never really mentioned it. And see,
Yeah,
I'm
because
one of those people that
yeah.
I'll lose 2 pounds and then I got to do a whole damn. Oh my God,
Well,
guys!
because I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I was doing it
Yeah,
because my blood pressure had gone up
yeah.
and my sugars had gone up. My RA had got out of control.
Oh man.
I was having so many flare-ups. I was
Yeah,
literally in bed for 2.5 months, and my doctor says, "Okay, we've got to change something." And because
yeah.
my sugars, we could not get those under control. And he said, "I think the sugars are what's causing everything down, but
Right.
my steroids is what was causing the sugars to go up."
Oh yeah,
But he couldn't when they tried to he tried to wean me off the steroids, but then that's when everything started going crazy. So
yeah.
so that's when they switched me to the he said Monjero or Ozempic,
Right.
whichever one. And so because Ozempic is like out of and backwater here like
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah.
Monjero was easier to get, and so that's what I got. But so
Yeah.
I wasn't consciously thinking about I'm losing weight.
DeeDee!
Their spot. I was more concerned about, okay, what's my A1C? What are my sugars for the day or the week?
Yeah.
What I was more concerned about
And
that.
yeah, and for you though, like I get it because people don't understand when you get one thing and you can't, it's so debilitating that you can't move. Well, then how are you going to get up? And, because a lot of people will do that to me and say, like, you need to walk 5 miles a day and you need to lift these weights and you need to do, and I get that. And I am doing, I am exercising now, I'm doing things, but it's hard for someone who
Yes.
it's just like a progressive slope. Like this causes this, and it's a chain
Yes.
reaction down. And so when you're bedbound, especially, what are you gonna do? I mean,
Right. So the weight just keeps coming on. It doesn't
you want,
matter how much
yeah,
eating, it's coming on. Well, and that's like my son. He was like, "Well, you just need to walk," and I was like, he goes, "You don't have to run, mom. Just walk." But that's how I broke my foot.
yeah,
I was walking, doing nothing but walking, and I just stepped a little bit wrong and broke my foot.
yeah,
Well, that's when we found out I had osteoporosis. Is that what it is,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I couldn't heal. It wouldn't heal. It wasn't healing, and the doctors kept sending me. And he was doing, he's like, okay, we need to send you for a bone scan. We need to send you for this, and I'm telling you, I've never had doctors' offices call me back so quick because they were freaking out because how like apparently it was pretty advanced because I
Yeah.
wasn't at the age to look for it. My RA wasn't in that category to have to look
Okay.
at it that often,
Right,
And
right.
so yeah, so now I'm on that medicine and it's like,
Okay.
okay. But the medicine, I started it, it'll be 2 years before even know if it's working. If the medicine
Wow.
if the
Oh,
medicine for the
God.
bones is working, yeah. So I
Wow.
just take
Yeah.
extra calcium pills and I take like, all that stuff.
Sure.
I try to eat as healthy as I can, but it was like I
Yeah.
was telling you, because my body, the nutrients don't stay in my body because of the RA and because all
Yeah.
the other medicines, attack the
Uh-huh.
natural
Yeah.
stuff. I have to supplement with the artificial stuff.
I
So
hear you.
so
Yeah.
I take the calcium, I take the collagen, I take all
Mhm.
that kind of stuff to help. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just had my knee shot injection, and it's a hyaluronic acid that they're putting in my knee.
Wow.
Girl, it builds on itself, so it's
Uh-huh.
lasted now like 6 months. Because at first when I was taking it, it
Oh.
was barely lasting 3 months because my knee was so bad. So now
Yeah.
it's 6 months, but, my son was like, "Mom, you're doing good." I said, "I know, I feel like I could dance,
Yeah.
I
You
feel
you
like"
run a mile.
exactly, but
Yeah.
that's when I
Yeah.
have to be careful because that's when I broke my foot because I
Oh
was
man.
walking, I felt good,
Right.
and
An injury, and then you're like, well, the only
yeah,
thing I can do is lay here and I can eat, because you have
yeah,
to eat, right?
so
So it's
So
man,
it's like
it's
a
rough.
whole life change. Like for me, because that was the thing. It's like if I get sick from the RA, it compounds everything, and that it's like an old person. That's like when they deal with geriatrics patients, is that it's
Yeah.
hard to treat them because one thing will cause another thing it's a domino
Yeah.
effect, and that's how
Yeah.
it is for
I
me,
get it.
person in my condition. But yeah, but losing the weight, because I think I'm at a little bit over 50, although I'm having trouble. I can't get under the 260. I'm at 260,
Yeah.
but
You're
I
doing
haven't been able
good.
to, I'm ecstatic about it. Now I'm at where I was at before the pandemic. Because
Yeah, that's
I
good.
gained all this weight, like 70 pounds during the pandemic,
All of us did.
and yeah, and it's like, so now I have lost it all, and now I'm back to where I was, but I can't get under that. I haven't been
Yeah.
able to get under that
You will. I
because
mean, I
now
think
I'm
everybody
conscious.
plateaus and then they, because
Well,
people think when you start losing weight, especially people who've never had a weight issue, think it's just like running down a hill and it goes like a graph. You started
oh
here and
yeah,
boom.
oh yeah,
But it doesn't. It just takes its own, sort
yeah,
it's not linear. It's a friggin' like, up and down and up,
Yeah.
peaks and valleys. So,
So
yeah, you'll
from
see that with my
yeah,
video tomorrow. She hit a
a plateau.
well, yeah, she didn't go
Yeah.
nowhere this week, but you know what? It's all a learning process, and I felt like you had told me already, like you're gonna have days like as the shot wears down where you're
Yes.
gonna feel like eating more. But I felt like that last week, a day after I took the shot. I felt like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. This is real hunger. Like I don't want to eat cakes and pies and chocolate, but I do feel like I want to eat more of the chicken, the veg, and the
Oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
More food, not more junk. But and I didn't feel that the first 2 weeks. So then I
But
did,
see
and I was
that and that's where the choice that's then where the healthy choices come in. You
right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that's when you have to go to the the mind, you have to start thinking,
Yeah.
okay, now I have to make healthy choices,
Right. Yeah.
and
And I did because I
yeah.
tell you what stops me. Not only I don't want it, DD. I want. I also I'm so scared of getting sick
Yeah.
that I don't, because most, like Ed told me once and a couple other people, my cousin, uh, have all said like the sickest I've ever felt was when I ate cake, my favorite thing in the world, like sweet cake, stuff. And my son says the same thing. Like he's even had to throw up, and I'm like, I'm not
I
going.
don't
I'm
want to
not.
throw
That's
up.
a
Yeah,
bridge too
yeah.
friggin' far. But so that's what stops me not wanting it is one, but we kind of, want to go back to our old habits, but I just don't want to get sick. So I don't want
Yeah.
to eat something junky that'll make me feel like crap
Yes. Yes.
too. So,
Well, no, and I agree.
yeah.
Well, because
Yeah.
there, I know I went like, oh, I don't know, and I had meant to tell you this, and I forgot. All I ate for breakfast was I would eat one scrambled egg. My husband would make two,
Mhm.
but I would barely eat one,
Yeah.
and oatmeal is what I would do. So I was eating oatmeal for
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner because it was soft on my stomach.
Okay.
It was it, and I was just eat oatmeal. McDonald's has good oatmeal, and you add you it ha they have like apples and some cream with it and some
Yeah.
nuts or whatever. So
That's
I
the
would
one
get
thing I
that.
haven't done yet is, and I love oatmeal, but I tell you how I love oatmeal, slathered in butter, a
Yes.
little bit of milk, and some brown sugar, and I can't,
But
right?
well, but see, that's the thing is in moderation, because
Yeah.
that's the thing is like you don't want to cut it all out, but
No.
and
Yeah.
that's how I was like on the cruises. That's my favorite thing to eat is oatmeal there because they have brown sugar and they have
Yeah.
nuts and they have
They have all
cranberries.
this stuff.
Yeah, so
I
I'll
love
put just a little.
raisins, a little
Yes,
cinnamon.
yes,
I just do a
yeah.
whole brown sugar and
Put it
spread
all
it
in
with
there.
yeah.
But that's easier to burn off than a candy bar.
Yeah.
Than
Oh
a
God,
candy
yeah.
bar.
Yeah. And but then when you get to the old well, a calorie in is a calorie out. I mean, is a calorie of broccoli the same as a calorie of a Snickers? We don't, I mean, we're
You really don't
told,
know.
we don't know. We're never gonna know. It could be for you and it couldn't be for me, right? It's
Right,
just everybody's
right.
microbiome is different. But we did have a question from Katie for you.
Okay,
She
Katie.
says,
Hi, Katie.
do you feel less inflammatory effects without the bad food? Thinking of going on Ozempic because I have an autoimmune disease. So, what do
Yeah,
you
and
think?
that's one of the things, like, my brother, because it's hereditary in our family, and
Yeah.
my brother actually his diagnosis, the autoimmune disease, is that he has lupus. So that is like,
Oh.
yeah,
Mm.
and so that affects the organs and things. So he has the
Yeah.
inflammation like I do, but it begins with his organs.
Okay.
And so his doctor is really heavy on nutrition. Where
Right.
my doctor, he said, I am, because he knew when I started, he knew where I was emotionally because I
Yeah.
started my mom had cancer and I was taking care of her, and that's how it was called it's stress induced. I got stress induced, diagnosed with
Yeah.
stress induced diabetes and stress induced RA. Whereas I
Gotcha.
always had it in my body, but the stress from all of that pushed me into the
Okay.
diseases.
Okay.
So when I started with him, he says, "I am not going to bog you down worrying about nutrition. We're going to worry about getting you medicated, getting you worried about taking care of your mom and doing all that kind of stuff. So that was like 10 years ago. So we never talked about he never
Yeah.
talked or bogged me down about nutrition because
It's
he
so
knew
strange.
he knew that
Yeah.
I could not handle that. It was just a
Right.
matter
Yeah, I
of
gotcha.
because sometimes I would eat and sometimes I
Yeah.
wouldn't eat. I'd forget I'd go all day
Yeah.
long because I was so taking care of my mom, feeding her, taking care of her that I was like,
Right.
it was like, I'm exhausted. Am I going to eat or I'm not going to eat? It
Right.
wasn't
Yeah.
that. And so then as I got healthier with the medication, then then that's when I would be able to make a little bit healthier choices with it.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't eat like my brother, he doesn't eat red meat. I eat all the
Yeah,
red
I don't
meat.
eat red meat either. Mm-mm.
He doesn't eat he doesn't eat starches, he doesn't eat any of
Right.
that kind of stuff. And I kind of try to stay off the starches and stuff, I try to stay with the green beans and things like that. But I really can't answer that question because I don't nutritionally do that because it's
Yeah.
not yeah, but that's just me because of the emotional battle that I was having
Yeah, of
with
course. Yeah.
going through all of my mom because I mean we're still it's been 20 she passed away in 2010. How many years is that? 10, 20?
14. Yeah,
Yeah.
14.
And
Yeah.
so I'm just barely now being able to come out emotionally and
Right.
able to be able to come out of all of that because
Sure.
I was a gatekeeper. I was a caregiver for her, for everybody. And I
Yeah.
remember my daughter saying, "Mom, you haven't cried. Grandma died and you haven't cried." And it was like, "Well, it's not." I go, "Yeah, I have." And she says, "Well, I haven't seen you because everybody's crying left and right."
Yeah.
And then I told her, I was like, I don't have time to because I'm the
Right.
one who has to put the funeral together. I'm the one who has to do all her bills. I'm the one who has to do all of this. So
Mm.
everybody else is breaking down around me
You
and I
can't.
couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I
couldn't.
couldn't.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't.
it makes a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like it was all time delayed for me. So it was like 3 to
Sure.
5 years later when it started hitting
Then
me.
it hits you. Okay, I'm
Yes.
alone. She's gone. Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I get
Which
it.
th-
I totally get
which
it.
is
Yeah.
right which was the timing with the pandemic. And then so you're at home, so what are you thinking about? It's like, well,
Yeah.
maybe it was because I did this, and maybe if I should have done this or
Sure.
should've told her this, so then
Woulda,
all of
couldas.
those thoughts
Right.
started coming in,
Yeah.
and then it was like
Yeah.
eat, 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 then you
Yeah.
couldn't go anywhere. So
The
yeah.
best thing this the year my mother died and my brother died and I had to put my little dog down too.
Yeah.
And the best thing and the best advice that whole year in 2022 that anybody gave me was the vet when we were in the room sobbing because they give them a little paralytic to kind of
Right.
calm them down and let them sort of go off sleep, and then they give them the
Then they give
when you're
them
not
the
in there, right? And they didn't give me the option to stay with my cat. They had, but I didn't take it because I was just a mess. And my vet said, I will never forget it. He said, turned around as he walked out, and he goes, "Don't second guess this. You
right.
did the right thing, and there is nothing you could have done."
Yeah.
So that I mean, no one had ever said
I
that
had
yet.
ever said
Like
anything, yeah. Oh,
you're
excuse
like,
me.
"Oh, you're
Mm,
giving me the strength or whatever." But it's so
yeah.
funny that when you were talking about your doctor as opposed to your brother's doctor, right? I don't think a lot of the doctors, and Jolie can say this because Jolie was an OR nurse, and she knows doctors very well, and so is Yota. So they know that, like, and I'm sure there's a lot of medical professionals on here with us that know, like, they take one class in med school for nutrition as
Yeah.
opposed to the thousands of hours of everything
Yeah.
else. It's just one little class. And so they're prescribing things to help you with the symptoms of the thing that's making you sick. But what really they don't let you know is what might be making you sick and inflamed and all of that is what you're eating and putting into your body
Yeah.
and whatever. And they don't really, because like when I went on this, the only thing my two doctors said, one PA and one doctor, my first doctor said, no, right before I left their office, she said, no, don't overeat. She goes, eat what you want, but don't
Don't
overeat
overeat, yeah.
because overeating makes you sick. And I was thinking, like, shouldn't you tell me to like eat better things instead of just that? And
Yeah.
also the lady, the PA that actually, 3 weeks ago did put me on, she was like, I said, "Do you have any, what do you have a food list, anything?" She goes, "No. No, I mean, I was on it and lost, 30 pounds for my wedding. I just didn't eat as much. I think that's the trick." And I was thinking like, "Wait a minute, hold on here, guys.
Well,
You
see,
don't have a food list, a
yeah, and
sample menu?"
that's because that's where the plane that you're on. With my RA
Yeah.
doctor, he was really good with recognizing emotionally
Yeah.
where I'm at, and emotionally what information he could give
What you
me.
needed
Right.
versus what I
And
needed,
and
right?
then because my PA, my primary doctor, she's the one who takes care of the diabetes. So they talk
Yeah.
to each other. So she's
Mhm.
the one who gives me the food counseling advice and
Okay.
does all this, so I get it from her there. But him as a rheumatologist, because there are some who do that, because he does do that with some patients, because I have
Yeah.
heard him talk about the nutrition and stuff. And as a matter of fact, the last one I was in there, I was like, should I be watching any any certain foods or what have you? And he says, "Oh, okay, so you're there." So he gave me a list of just cherries are good for
Oh, yeah.
anti-inflammatory and things
I
like
heard that.
that,
Uh-huh.
which
Yeah.
is stuff that I had already kind of learned. But he said,
Right.
but so for him, he was like, your diabetes doctor, who's controlling that and the nutrition for that, whatever you do there is going to help with
True.
the because sugars is a big thing for inflammation.
Yeah.
When eating a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
sugars, yeah.
I
And
gotta tell you, oh my gosh, when you hear this, you're gonna be amazed. So, I don't know if you've ever heard me. I'll do it for you. Don't gross out, guys. Do you hear that? That's my jaw.
your jaw,
So
oh,
I have like the TMJ
oh, yeah,
super,
yeah, yeah.
super bad. I've been on medication. I've had implants. I've had
Whoa.
procedures, all kinds of stuff done. Okay, I've had to wear headgear. All kind. Here comes a hot flash. You see it?
I see you turning red. Yeah, your ears
Yeah.
are red.
That's
Yeah.
how it happens, guys. Nothing will
See,
stop it.
do you know what I take? Because I had everything. I had to have when I was 40, on my 40th birthday, 45th birthday, 40,
Yeah.
yeah, I had to have, it wasn't emergent, it was urgent, but not emergent,
Okay.
not emergency. I had to have a hysterectomy. I had to have I took everything, ovaries, everything, tubes,
Yeah, me
everything
too.
was
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
And but I'm on BIOTE, and my
Okay.
primary, she does that. It's a pellet, they're pellets. And so yeah, and
I
that
might
is the
want to check
best
on
thing.
that.
Girl,
They put
that
me
is the
on
best
they
thing.
put me back on estrogen a little bit
Yes, because
just a couple months ago. So
I did the cream thing on the arm. I don't know, did you do the cream
yeah.
thing on the
Oh,
arm
I'm
and
doing
all
the
that?
cream thing, girl, but it ain't on her arm.
Okay, yeah, because
Okay.
I wasn't gonna do that cream thing, girl. I was like, I did the cream thing. I was like, no, I ain't doing that cream thing. Because he did tell me, he goes, you can do this. I said, no, not
It
doing
must
that.
taste horrible. Okay, that's what Bill said. No, I'm kidding.
That's what Bill
I
says. But no, it's these pellets. They and the
yeah.
hormones are really what has done it. So who was it
Okay.
that was asking about that? For me, the
Katie, yeah.
inflammation, okay, with the inflammation for me has been controlled through the hormones, through
Okay.
those pellets, because
Yeah.
it also, like, I had negative, like, I was so depleted in vitamin D because of between not having a gallbladder and the
Oh God,
RA,
yeah.
that I
Yeah.
would take these, they're what, 3,000 milligrams or
Hmm.
they're the green pills of
Okay.
vitamin D, and I would take 3 of them 3 times a week. And
Wow.
just this year, so I've been doing that for about 4 years now, because it was like nothing would come up, it wouldn't come up, it wouldn't come up. And, so just this year, they now are tapering me. I'm not taking vitamin D extra at
Okay.
all, because the hormones that I've been taking have helped with that. And, during the pandemic, I got messed up. We missed because they weren't doing that was considered a extra
Okay.
procedures.
Yeah.
So we couldn't go into the clinic to go do that. And she
Yeah.
did it in her office, but she couldn't offer that procedure, even
Oh,
though she did it herself because it was a pandemic. It was considered non-necessary. And so I was off of that for probably about a year, I guess. Because then it was like you forget about it and
yeah, you
you're off
do.
of it, you forget
Yeah.
about it.
I was having some issues though, so I did, I thought it was one thing, which is so funny because I haven't been on hormones, estrogen in I mean, I had mine all taken out in 2011. I probably struggled along with it and did estrogen for 3 or 4 years, and then I just cold turkey quit. But I've always, ever since then, I've
Yeah.
always had the hot flashes really bad. But the one thing that on this diet, I will say to Katie, if she's still on, and I haven't been on it long enough to do much, but I will say my TMJ flare ups are because sometimes I'll get to the end of the day where I've spoken a lot and I'm
And it
just
hurts.
there.
Yeah.
Right. It hurts so bad. But I haven't had to have any of my medication for it. I haven't even told the doctor. Like it's a weird thing because that is
Yeah.
inflammation too, because I have those clicking right
Clicking
joints.
sound.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a weird like
Yeah, so knock on wood, because right now I'm in a good period this past
yeah,
like year, but it's because we did the hormones and I did them
sure.
now. Been doing them for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Um straight without missing because of the like I said, the pandemic had messed
Yeah.
me up and I was doing good. And that was one of the things we couldn't figure out what is going on. And when I was in that sick period that I was 2.5 months, and then she said, let's check your hormones. We haven't checked your hormones in a while. And that's when both the doctor and I realized, oh my goodness, you haven't had them in over
Yeah.
2 years, I guess is what I hadn't had them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we did them, and so now we've had them in my system.
I'm gonna ask her. I'm
And
gonna
it
ask her for
yeah,
that on the
Biote,
that
yeah,
or the on the skin because I don't know. I mean, it's helped me like 1,000 because
yeah.
Cammy. I tell Cammy and the gals all the time, like, oh, this is so good. This stuff's helping my old girl out, honey. My pee is fabulous. You know what I mean? But also it does mess with me. Cammy asked me today, and I said, "Oh, your bill is like taste of it." But no, if I'm not being funny, and if I'm really saying this, the injectable,
Yeah,
right, cream, that what goes in must come out,
come
girl.
out.
And the next day I feel because I have a lot of urinary problems anyway. I almost feel like I have a urinary tract infection, right? Because of
Oh,
that.
yeah, because you're
Right. So
sensitive. My daughter's
yeah,
extremely sensitive. Like, she always
yeah.
at 3 years old, she had her first infection. I was like, "We haven't done anything." He says, "No, it's just some people are like that." So we have had to watch her entire life.
Oh my
But
god,
see,
yeah.
that's why I didn't want any creams or any of that kind of stuff because I didn't want it
Yeah.
to. And girl, talk about the Sahara Desert.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I don't have that problem anymore.
Oh,
Sorry,
see,
guys.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
guys, if
So
y'all
that
are on
makes
here.
sense.
But
That makes
with the
sense.
bio tea, yeah, yeah. And I was like,
All right.
because you do it, and I think it's like every 3 or 6 months she checks them again, and if they go low, like you can have like the insurance will pay for your insurance will pay for some of it, and some of it won't. It just depends on
Right.
which insurance you have. It depends.
Oh,
and
mine's the crap.
and so but they will do, if your insurance covers it, they pay for a follow-up like 30 days later. And so I the first two times I had it, they did a booster, but this last time I didn't have to have a booster. I was able
Oh,
to
okay.
it was able to do it. So yeah, so I was like, yeah, let's go, let's party, yeah.
Every part of my body can shut down, but oh, girl's got to stay right,
Hey,
guys.
that's why we love the cruise. That's why my husband loves the cruise, because
All
we have
right.
party time on the cruise, because there's no cats, there's no cell phones, there's no dogs, there's no children unless it's a family
Guys, we
cruise.
just uncovered why DeeDee Bean goes on a cruise every other month. We know now,
My
girl.
husband
Okay.
my husband
Okay.
wants some sunshine time.
Woo, girl, I'll drink to that.
Girl,
Mm.
I could tell you a story that will make you blush. It'll make me blush.
Oh my God, let's
Do
hear it then.
you want me to tell you? Okay, let me tell you. I was known as like a screamer.
Okay, girl,
Apparently,
get it. Go ahead, keep
I'm,
going. Yes.
I'm a little loud, you know.
Okay.
Well, well, we
Okay.
my husband when he's drinking, the friskiness comes out on him. Right? I can't believe I'm telling you all this story. The friskiness comes out on him. Well, he loves to tell the story because he says, "Well, after I rock your world, he walks out, right?" And I'm like, "Our bed," because what they do is they have two twin beds and they put the beds together and that makes a king
Oh,
size bed, right?
okay,
And
okay.
they put all these mattresses or these like little mattresses to make it
Yeah,
comfortable, right? And I
yeah.
was like, so the bed was all separated. There's, you could tell there was two single beds. So I'm having to clean up and everything. And of course he goes out, and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of laughing in the hallway, right? So later when I see him, he said the stewards were out
Oh my
in
God.
there was three guys and they were out there listening.
Oh my God.
So when they came out, they were like, "Mr. Charles, you had some fun."
He was like, after I rock your world, Bill says that, and I say, that's the best 2 minutes of my life, baby. Get it, get it. I just tell him not to mess with him,
There
you know.
you go. 2 minutes, baby. What are we gonna do for the rest of the time?
What am I gonna do with the rest of these 3 minutes? We put down five. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's why. So it's like, and then so like as you can imagine, my brother lives here now, so it's like, okay,
Oh,
it's time for a cruise.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, my daughter is always like, I'll say this, and I won't say more, but my daughter's always like, gross. You had your bedroom door shut last
I
night.
know. Well,
I'm
and
like,
that's when they know, yeah, they know. Yeah. So
yeah, yeah,
my
yeah.
brother, he goes, "I'm just gonna keep my door closed all the time, so then I won't know when your door is closed."
Oh
I was like,
god.
well, and
Yeah.
he's younger, so we're like, parental figures for
Oh
him.
yeah.
So he's like, gross.
Gross. Oh god. Get a room. You're like, why do you think we go on a cruise?
Exactly,
Get us that
exactly,
room. Miss
exactly.
Jelly said, note to self, do not go on a cruise with DeeDee.
No, Miss Jelly, you can go on a cruise, just don't be next door to Miss Dee.
We're gonna go two decks down or above or down down the hall. We're gonna get a
Yeah,
view on
down the
this
hall
end.
above. Yeah.
It's funny though on a cruise, and we've only been on one in our whole lives. It was something that Bill, we did it for his work. It was a work thing that he won, and then he must have just not. He just must have been like, "Man, that was fun. We had a good time." But he was just like, "Nah, we ain't going back." So we have never been on another cruise, but
Oh,
we always think it's so. We thought it was the weirdest thing because if you've never been on one, and then the first time you are, it's weird that it's almost like the guy is standing in the hallway waiting for you to get out of there so he can
oh.
make up the bed again, and then so.
And get it all there.
But
And now that's one of the things because they used to do your room twice a day, but now they only do it once a day because of the pandemic. Because they don't have one, they're trying to keep people from going into your room so much.
okay,
Two, they don't have as much help as they used to have to be able to
I
do it
gotcha.
twice a day.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
morning or afternoon, whichever one, morning or evening,
Okay.
whichever one. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's not so bad. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, there you are.
it was just like we would just go down to the casino for a minute or go to the bar for a minute and then come
Yeah.
back and they did a amateur. This is funny about the cruise. They did they had a comedian on board. They had all kinds of entertainment, right?
Yeah. Right.
Singers, all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was really like the Love Boat, like on the Lido deck, we got her, or over here we got, 50 buffets, service, this, that, the other, and all kinds of tournaments and games and bingo. And they posted the first night. I think we went out to see on a Sunday and we came back on a Saturday, right? Or Friday or Saturday, left out of New Orleans. And the captain or whoever was introducing everything, and he goes, and Thursday, guys, on Thursday, we're gonna do an amateur comedy night. So if any of you think you're that funny, come. And I
Did you
immediately
go?
went right over and was like, sign me up. But yeah, that was fun. That was the funnest
I
thing.
bet you were hilarious.
Some people had their kids. It was like the 10 o'clock thing. It was like a
Oh,
10 o'clock
yeah.
thing, and some people had their kids. And I'm nasty. I don't care. And some guy said, "Save that stuff for so you're too." And I said, "Take your damn kid to bed. Why is your kid still up? You
This is their laid
asshole."
out, yeah, and that's what some comedians do when you have them, they're like, "Okay, I see some kids in the house, some teenagers. This is the adult show, so I don't wanna hear any complaints
Right.
about it."
Exactly. Yeah.
Neither does the cruise ship. They don't wanna hear complaints because the
Yeah,
first
but
thing they're gonna ask
I
you is,
did. I
yeah.
gave it out. I was like, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
That was fun
I
though.
absolutely I think it's the best vacation. It took us 25 years to take one. That was our
Yeah.
25th anniversary gift to each other. And we took our
Okay.
kids and our our whole family, we paid for them to go and everything. We saved up. It was a big shindig, we did it. And we had a blast and it's just you can go visit other countries, you can go do all that. You don't have to worry about changing hotels, you don't have to worry about packing up and moving and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah, that's
then
nice.
with me, yeah, and with me not being as mobile, the main thing is that because my main issue is fatigue, where
Yeah.
I'm good for a good 4 hours,
Okay. Oh, girl,
after
do
four,
tell.
yeah. After 4 hours, like that fifth hour, I'm kind of pushing it. And then it's like what I tell people. This is how I describe it, where you have a balloon, a full balloon, and
Yeah.
if you prick the balloon, then it deflates. And that's how my
Girl,
energy
speaking of prick, what now? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
that's how my energy is like I
It just,
can be going and then all of a sudden
yeah.
from 1 minute to the next
Okay.
I'm just exhausted. And
Oh my
yeah,
God.
and it just
Yeah.
that's just how it happens, so I can be in the middle of something and it's like, okay, I'm done, so
That's
hey,
fun.
those I just lay there,
Why not?
and
Why not? We've done all this work. Shit.
But but, um, but
Yeah.
with on the cruise ship, it was guilt-free for me and guilt-free for them because
Yeah.
they can go ahead and have a good time. After I go and nap for a couple of hours,
You're
then
good.
I'm good,
Yeah.
then I can go find them. And sometimes it's
Right.
not even that I need to sleep, it's just my
Yeah.
body has to rest.
Take a rest.
And that's been the hardest thing is to and it's not just a matter of sitting down and rest, it's like you have to your entire body has to rest on a bed. It's not like I can just sit down in a chair and whatever. It's
Yeah.
like you just really have to rest your body. So sometimes I sit there for 2 hours, watch TV, do some shopping or whatever.
I
And,
feel you. I
you
totally
know,
feel you. They played, movies, really pretty good movies. So I know one day we couldn't get out of the ship, or it was so such high seas. We
oh,
all
yeah.
were told, to stay in our room, and we ordered sandwiches and chips, and watched. Well, we were younger then. We did it a bunch. Then when that was too sore to keep going, we ended up just laying around watching a bunch of movies, which was
Yeah.
nice. So what was funny is way back when, because this was in the '90s, DD.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just had the one kid, and he was a little baby. He's a little bitty. Water World was one of the films that
Oh,
they
yeah,
were
yeah, yeah.
showing, right, with Kevin Costner.
With
I
Kevin
love Kevin
Costner. Yeah.
Costner. Oh my god! But yeah,
Yeah.
now my friend, I know everybody's like, you've been on here for 2 hours. We'll hang up here in a second, but I have to say, yeah, the my friend at work, she cruises as much as you do. If not, you guys pretty much every two
Or
or 3 months she's on
yeah.
one too. And I know last year she had told me that she works it out. You get so many points on this one cruise line, and she uses them. And I think she said her and her mom went on a small cruise last year for like $50 or something. Like it
Oh,
was
yeah. Well,
insane.
the
Yeah.
cruise that we're going on, this time, it
Yeah.
was $200, $100 for him, $100 for me, and it's the tax and fees, and all we have to pay is the port fees. Those are a little high, and then your
Yeah.
gratuities. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was like I think it came out to less than $500 is what it was for the two of us. Yeah,
You cannot take a trip with
because you're
anything included like
yeah.
that.
And
Yeah.
your food's included, you have your drinks as far as water, tea, coffee. So
Right. Yeah.
you're not gonna die of thirst. You're not gonna die of
Right.
hunger. You have entertainment, and
I
there's lots of
mean,
stuff that you don't have to do the upcharges. We
right.
did go
Yeah.
on a cruise one time and we did spend $0. We went on a cruise like zero extra dollars
Yeah.
because I was like, it was kind of one of those, I don't really shop. And he goes, "You don't want to shop?" I go, "I have all," because we've been
Yeah.
so much. I have all of the we had been to those ports before. So I
Yeah.
had the magnets, I had the bags that I get from there. So I really didn't need anything from the ship. And so on the ship, we didn't have a bill. It was like there was zero. I was zero
You
balance.
just
So we were
signed that zero paper
yeah,
and went on
yeah, that was
your way.
it. Yeah, that was it.
That's
You didn't have to,
fun.
well, and you
Oh
don't even have
my
to sign
god.
that, girl, because you on the way out, they scan your card
Okay.
on the way out. So if you owe money,
Yeah.
they'll turn your butt around and you got to go pay it.
It's like
So
Disney with the little
yes, yeah,
bracelets, and
yeah,
both. We went one year. We went twice because I just loved it so much. I was like, well, let's go back. Then I got into handbags and we had been nowhere. But
and haven't been
anyway,
nowhere.
but
Well,
my
see, and
girls,
yeah,
they figured that out real quick. They figured out we had meal
you did-
plans in, and then they could do their meal plan, and at the end of the trip every time it was like, oh, we haven't used 30 snacks. So we would get just this huge
yes,
bag of
yes,
like ho hos and ding dongs and chocolate milk and all kinds of stuff. So that was fun for them. But yeah, we ended up spending the exact same amount. He didn't let me shop for bags. He didn't take me even into a Kate Spade or
do
nothing.
that,
He just
yeah.
like,
He yeah, my husband, I mean, like, because the only thing, like, with all my obsessions, because I've had the skincare obsession, I've had the makeup
yeah.
obsession, I've had the planner. We haven't even talked about the planner obsession that I've had. I've had, like, all these different obsessions that I've had, the decluttering, but that one we
Oh,
did,
I went
you
through the
know
planner one. Yeah.
yeah. So he's all like, "You can have whatever obsessions you want as long as I still get to cruise,
Yeah.
and we have our bills are paid, our lights are
Yeah.
not turned off." He says,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
I was
and we'll
cruising towards not having power, so I had to stop. So yeah.
and
I was
and
like,
and we told our kids, we are living your inheritance. So
yeah.
don't think you're going to be getting anything. You ain't getting
Oh
shit from
yeah.
us. Our parents
Yeah.
didn't leave us shit. We ain't leaving you crap. So,
And I've
so
even
you know
told
what?
all three of mine, like, I don't know which one will win the lottery getting us when we get too old and have to sell everything off.
Nobody wants
But
me.
like
Yeah, nobody wants me. So I'm like, okay.
none of them do for me either. And Carter, I always tease her. I go, I want you to be something like a surgeon because she's real smart. I said, I want you to be a surgeon. That way, when you retire, it'll be time for us to get into an old folks' home. But I can actually go to your mansion. And she's like, okay, mom. But yeah,
Well, and for us, it's our grandkids. That's our only hope is our grandkids. So
yeah.
our
Oh
grandkids
God, yeah.
right now love us to death.
Yeah, yeah. Keep them grandkids happy and giving them kisses.
That's right.
Oh gosh, we have had a fun night. I think we talked about everything but handbags, but
I think so. That's fun.
sometimes I'm just not into talk. I'm handbagged out.
Your handbag out. And I
Yeah,
can understand that. I can
yeah,
understand that. It's a okay. Now I'm talking about a viewer now. This is your viewer. It's a little hard. I
yeah.
have to admit, it's a little hard. And I'm like, God dang it, Winnie, no more. Don't be on no spends. You've got me hooked, and now you're cutting me
I
off.
know, I know. I can't.
As a
It's just
creator, I understand, and
yeah,
yes, and then after a little while as a viewer, I'm going, yeah. So I'm trying to learn from where y'all are
yeah,
at and not do that.
yeah.
I really wouldn't have gone so crazy. Coach Denham came out,
Oh
you know,
yeah. And see, I'm
like
not a big denim person, so
yeah.
that didn't catch me.
And so, but I really had I not had that eBay scandal with the quilted tabby and all of that been on my mind thinking, okay, because my thoughts were, when something releases that I really, really like, I'll get one piece. What
Yeah.
if it's a SLG or a small
That's
something
what
or
she
another,
said. I'll get one
one
piece,
piece.
girl.
And I
Yes.
figured I'll have fun hunting them down later. Well,
Yeah.
obviously I don't
Oh,
know
that's the
enough
fun to
about
hunt. Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
and I got so burned and it was like embarrassing. I was
I
depressed. I
mean,
was
it
like
happens
the
to
whole
all
thing.
of us.
I
Yeah.
realize that now. But when the coach this coach Denham came out, I was like, I want it all. I need it all. Need it all. But
That is crazy. You know what's killing me though? It's not really the not buying, but it's almost like, and I promise none of us coordinated, like, because I don't, but it was almost like there was several of us that just all of a sudden this year said, I'm not going to do what I have done. But for me, that happened to me back in November, and it really
yeah,
wasn't because hadn't done my taxes yet, so really didn't know the amount of money I had spent. Now I do, which really spurs me on. But it was the sheer amount of bags.
yeah,
That's what really, and even this, I've sold off so much. I can feel this place just thinning out a little bit, and it feels so much better, like I can breathe. But it's just so weird that a lot of people have gotten on the same path, and I
yeah.
don't know what it is in the water, like, we all just, like, drank
Well, because I
something
think
and
y'all
said,
all
"No."
probably started at the same time, so y'all all
Maybe,
kind of cycled at the same time,
maybe,
so that
yeah.
and but hey, that's where me and Yota did her
Yeah.
little no buy last time, or she was just
More
not feeling
bags
it,
for you guys,
and
right?
I see it, that's right. I see it as that I'm sustaining the economy. Somebody
Yeah.
needs to help our economy, and
It's
I
an
am doing that.
opportunity. It's
I
an
am doing that.
opportunity.
Hey, you are welcome, Winnie B. The economy is
Yeah.
okay because of me.
The no buying though, and I've said this before, but it does make you have to then research, not so much research, but really put thought into what the heck is the video about today or
Oh,
tomorrow,
yeah,
or it's that thing of, oh, I feel like I'm on the radio again because I have to prep. I have to think
yeah,
out what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, what am I even going to title it, so yeah, that is the only thing, cuz unboxings are the best. They're just come in, flick on the lights, turn around the camera and
and let's go.
start
Yeah,
and go, and that is, it's easy to do, easy to edit, easy money, easy views, clicks, all of that is just there for you, easy
there, yeah,
thumbnails, it's all just there. So yeah, I get it. And then you watch, because I, for 5 or 6 7 years, have just watched nothing but handbag creators and videos and stuff, and now I'm kind of like, okay, okay,
yeah.
the
And I think
fog is
that's what's a little bit, yeah, I think that's what's a little bit different for me is the fact that I've watched, like, I watch a gamut of stuff so that you don't like just get oversaturated with just
Yeah,
one
yeah,
subject,
yeah, yeah,
and even now, as I watch things. But it was one of those things where, like, when Yota said, "You ought to go get on YouTube," which I mean, I had barely known her,
yeah,
and I'm like, "Why
yeah,
would you say that?" So I tell her I really think that God talked through her to her for me because
yeah,
my husband. I was telling this the other day to Caleb that my husband has really said that the spark and the joy and the
yeah,
other aspects of my life
yeah.
has come back because I have been able to,
You have a
like I have a
purpose.
purpose, right? I have a
Yeah.
purpose,
And
and
you
so
have people who are like you, and you found
yes.
those people, and
Yes,
that's
and
nice, because
yeah,
in your real life, not most I will say none of the people that you hang around with, family, friends, and other work people, none of you really have the same things that you
right,
click with. But when you find your people, it's like belonging to a club. And
right,
when my
exactly,
husband and when my family doesn't understand why I did what I did, you guys do. You get it,
right,
because I always talk in those generalities, like, oh, you know that thing of when you do this, because you guys know you
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
same, pitfalls, struggles, joys, letdowns, whatever,
Yeah,
right?
and see,
So,
and
yeah.
like for me, it's not just handbags, it's shopping. That's just been I've always had a knack for shopping. So that's why I figured, well, I need to mix it up, and I plan on mixing it up a little bit more. Once I
Mhm.
hit that 1010,
There you
I
go. Why
mix
is
it
the
up
10? The 10. What do you want to do?
because I want to have a cushion because all those CEO people or whatever they get you, and it's like, then they
Yeah.
subscribe so they can get all your information, and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
unsubscribe. So that's why
Yeah.
I want that
Oh,
10
you're just
cushion.
one viral video away, girl. You just one viral video away. You
So
got this.
from
You got this.
your lips to the YouTube universe.
There it is. There it is. We've said it. We've spoken it into existence, and now it's happening. So
There we go.
there you go. Thank you, DeeDee Bean, for
Oh,
being
you're
such
welcome.
a
Thank you.
great,
Thank you for
great
a dream
guest.
come true, Winnie. Thank you for a dream come true.
Well, I don't know about that, but thank
Oh
you for
yeah.
joining me. It's been a good time, and if you want to have me on, I will. Like I said, whenever you're ready, we'll do it, and it'll be fun too. Next week, Craig's coming back.
Oh
Um,
yay.
yeah, so we'll see Craig again. We got some stuff to talk about. So yeah, we'll just go round and round. But yeah, and if you ever, anybody that's ever, I'll say this blanket statement to anyone, anybody that's on my live and you see a segment that I don't watch my lives back, I strongly urge no one to watch their own lives back. It can be very like, oh shit, I said it's out there. Now what? So I don't do it. But if you get to watching it and you see something that seems like a good segment to cut out and post on your, do it. I strongly urge you. You can have any of the,
Oh, thank you. Okay.
yeah. So yeah, you're welcome to. And anybody that does a live with me, I don't mind if you cut them up and make your own videos. That's fun, right? So anyway, thank you so much for coming by
You're
again,
welcome. You're
guys.
welcome.
I love you guys. Tell us what your next video or live is coming up.
Well, what I've my next video, what is my next video? I have one today. Oh, my next video is gonna be my first Rogue. I actually got a
Okay.
Rogue, but
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
got
a
a really
nice
good
one.
deal. Yeah, I never
That
thought
is
I would get one, because of the weight and stuff, but I got a
mhm.
good deal. Couldn't pass it
Okay.
up.
I'll be watching for you,
And
DD.
then
Thank
I'm
you
going
guys
to
for coming by. That's exciting. So, guys, we love you.
bye
Check us out in
everybody.
our next video. Hit the subscribe on DD's channel. I will post it after this is over. We'll put it down in the box. It'll probably be the only thing down there, but that's all you really
That's
need,
all we need.
guys.
Yeah.
That's all we need. All right. Thanks, guys. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.